basically, what is the whole philosophy of a roof garden? I mean, it is beautiful out here. Is this the reason to put it up here?
It is. It's one of them. So basically the benefits of green roofs are split into two categories. You've got public and private benefits. Of course, one of the private benefits is that you have a beautiful roof space to enjoy, but not all green roofs are accessible. So some of the additional private benefits that you have are a doubling of the roof membrane life. So a 20-year roof would last 40 years. You have benefits for your heating and cooling bills. All of the plants are providing a little bit of thermal insulation for the winter months, but one of the big benefits is if you look at all the roofs around us, they're all blacktop tar roofs.
Right.
So those roofs get to about 140, 150 degrees in the middle of the summer, whereas this roof, even on a day like today, stays about air temperature. So, you know, it's about 90, 95 degrees up here.
So, but let me interrupt you. You said that you can actually cool the temperature of the building below?
Right, so all of our mechanical equipment is actually right here on the roof. And if it were working on the roof next door, it would be drawing 150 degree air and cooling that to 70 degree air to push through the building. Here, we're only generating about 20 degrees of energy change, of temperature change for the air that's pumped through the building.
So does that mean cost savings as well?
It does, absolutely. If those units aren't going to work as hard, they're not going to cost as much to run, and they're going to last longer.
So have you done any measurements here?
We actually haven't. This roof's been on about a year or so, and I don't know that we're doing actually energy tracking on it.
What does the research generally say? I mean, how long does it take before you get your costs, you pay for the garden having put it in the first place?
Sure. Return on investment is one of those things where you have to look at all the different factors, not just the energy savings. General return on investment for a green roof definitely comes at the end of that first roof life. So your return on investment at that point is 100%, and then everything after that is gravy. With the energy benefit, it can be anywhere between 5 years to 12 years
to get the money back for it that you put in.
Right.
What are the fundamentals for creating the roof? In other words, is it stone? Is it just the garden? Types of plants? What do you deal with?
Sure. So a green roof is actually a layered system that integrates with the existing waterproofing membrane. So in a roof, you have a roof deck, and then you have a protection that goes over that, a waterproofing membrane. That's what keeps the water out of the building. A green roof is a series of layers that are built on top of that. For this roof, we started with a protection fabric, which protects the waterproofing membrane from everything that goes above that. We have a drainage layer, which, once the green roof is fully saturated, helps move the water off of the roof, just like the green roof wasn't there. A separation fabric, which helps to keep the growing medium from clogging up the drainage system. The growing medium, which is what you see around that looks like stone for the most part, it's actually heat expanded shale and slate. It's a predominantly inorganic mix so that the growing medium or the soil doesn't decompose. And then you have the plants that are anchored in that growing medium.
How much does it cost to set something like this up?
It depends on the intensiveness of the system. A thin profile system like this with basic seed and plantings generally runs somewhere between $12 and $15 per square foot for a small installation like this. When you get into economies of scale, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 square feet, you can obviously reduce those numbers.
This is largely about energy efficiency. Correct?
It is. We talked about the private benefits, but one of the things we haven't talked about is public benefits, and that's one of the things that green roofs really do well, is manage stormwater. We have a really big problem in DC specifically, but in most of our older cities in the country, where we have a sewer system that is one pipe that treats all of our wastewater from the buildings and our stormwater that falls from the sky and washes off of our impervious surfaces. A green roof helps keep that water in place, reducing the burden on our sewer systems. So that's a big benefit. Another one is urban heat island effect. The urban heat island is basically where we have all of these impervious surfaces, blacktop roofs, blacktop roads that heat up all day long and radiate that heat all night long. It's why when you watch the weather in the morning, it's 10 degrees hotter in DC than it is, out in Loudoun County. So green roofs help counteract that as well.
Is there any connection to a carbon footprint, though, or what is the connection?
Sure, absolutely.
There has to be.
There are a couple of different things that you can really connect to the carbon footprint. One, the reduced energy usage. Two, the plants are doing a little bit of carbon sequestration and carbon fixing on site. And then waste reduction is another big thing. If you're thinking about, this is 3,500 square feet of roof space, if in 20 years we're going to tear that off and throw it in the landfill, if we do that once every 40 years instead of once every 20 years, we're reducing our waste by half.
So overall cost, as you said, what, $12 a square foot? So it can be quite expensive. Are there tax rebates, incentives, and so on that are connected? Because this
Absolutely.
is part of the greening of America, is it not?
It is, absolutely. So there are different municipal programs that are put in place to help offset those costs. In DC, we have two specific programs that are applicable citywide. One is a rebate program for $5 per square foot for roofs that are under 4,000 square feet. The other one is a rebate program for $7 per square foot for roofs that are over 4,000 square feet. They have rebate programs in New York City and Chicago and Portland and Seattle, so across the country.
Depends where you live, obviously.
Exactly.
So, and there are municipal rebates, any federal rebates involved, or states, or does it vary by state?
It varies by state. On a federal level, I know that Senator Cantwell is trying to introduce a green roofing component to one of the energy bills to get a 30% reduction in the tax component for that, very similar to what the weatherization bills are showing.
How popular is this becoming?
It's becoming increasingly popular. We have over 500,000 square feet of green roof in Washington, D.C. right now. We're the second largest green roofing city in North America. Chicago's the leader, and we're slowly catching up with them every year.
A little competition there.
A little bit, yeah, healthy competition.